All right, so this is the task 23 video. It is on packet page 18. Um, so what I suggest doing, because we're going to need this table, is I would suggest pausing the video for a second, copying down this table. Okay, so go ahead, pause it right now, and copy down this table into your notebook. Okay, so we're going to find equations from a table. So this goes back to something we did in the last unit when we had these tables. So in this column, we're going to do delta f of x over delta x, which is the same as saying change in y over change in x. And we're going to put SR here for successive ratio. So remember, successive ratio was y2 divided by y1. And this column will just do our slopes, our change in y over change in x. So we always crossed out the first box just because that we didn't have the previous one to be able to do those. All right, so in this box, we're going to start with this 1 right here, minus the negative 1 that comes before it, over this x, 1 minus 0. So minus a minus 1 becomes a plus. 1 plus 1 is 2. We'll have 1 on bottom, so 2 over 1 gives us 2. And the next one, we'll start with this y value, minus the y value before it, over 2 minus 1. So we'll get 2 over 1, which is 2. Next one, we'll start with this y value of 5, minus the 3 before it, over 3 minus 2. On top we'll get 2, on bottom we'll get 1, so we'll get 2. And if we continue, we'll have 7 minus 5 over 4 minus 3, which will also give us 2 over 1, which is 2. And then 9 minus 7 over 5 minus 4, which will give us 2. And lastly, 11 minus 9 over 6 minus 5, which will give us 2 over 1, which is 2. Successive ratio now, we do y2 divided by y1. So we'll start with this y value, the 1, and divide by the y that comes before it. 1 divided by negative 1 is negative 1. We'll do this y value divided by the 1 before it. So 3 divided by 1 is 3. Then we'll have 5 divided by 3. Nothing we can do there. 7 divided by 5. 9 divided by 7. And 11 divided by 9. So we want to see what stands out about this chart. The thing that should stand out is our rate of change column. The slope column is all constant. Where we need to connect to what we had done in the previous unit, if your rate of change is constant, that means this is a linear function. So we need to think y equals mx plus b. Well, our m is just what we found in our rate of change column. So we know that's y equals 2x. And then our b should correspond with when x is equal to 0. Well, when x is equal to 0, we had negative 1. Oops, so this actually won't be a plus. This will be a minus 1. So y equals 2x minus 1 is our equation for this table. Okay, and on these, you have to fill in the table, both columns, to get credit on the homework. Okay, even if you see that these are all 2's and you know it's going to be linear, you got to do the other column as well. So on that page 18, number 3 is the other one we're going to look at. So again, pause the video right now, take a minute, copy down the table, and then you can re-hit play on the video. So right now, go ahead and hit pause. All right, so this again is delta f of x over delta x. And this will be the successive ratio. And we X out those first two boxes. So our slope, change in y over change in x, we'll start with this y value, 1 minus the y value before it of a half, over 1 minus 0. 1 minus a half will give us a half over 1, so it's just a half. Next one, we'll start with this y value of 2 minus the 1 y value before it over 2 minus 1. So that'll give us 1 divided by 1, which is 1. Next one, we'll have this y value of 4 minus the 2 over 3 minus 2, so we got 2. 8 minus 4 over 4 minus 3. We get 4 on top, 1 on bottom, so we get 4. 16 minus 8 over 5 minus 4 will give us 8 over 1, so we get 8. And then take this y value of 32 minus the 16 over 6 minus 5. So we get 16 over 1, which is 16. So that's for our rate of change column. Successive ratio, we'll do our y value divided by the one before it, y2 divided by y1. So we'll do 1 divided by a half. When you divide by a half, it's the same as multiplying by 2, so 1 times 2 gives us 2. Next one, take our y value of 2, divide it by the one before it, so we'll have 2 divided by 1 is 2. We'll take our y value of 4 divided by the one before it. 4 divided by 2, we get 2. And if we keep going, we'll have 8 divided by 4, which is 2. We'll have 16 divided by 8, which is 2. And we'll have 32 divided by 16, which is 2. So the thing that should stand out here is your successive ratio column is all the same. So that tells us we are working with exponential. So in an exponential, we have y equals a times b to the x. And your successive ratio is the b. So we know we're going to have a 2 raised to the x. And we just have to figure out what's going to go in the a spot. Well, kind of like our y-intercept in the linear, the a is just corresponds when x is 0. Well, we have a half for our y value when x is 0. So we'll just have a half times 2 to the x. And that is our equation for that exponential function. So for the practice problems, you'll have 3 of these to do. Again, you've got to fill out the entire tables, decide if it's exponential or linear, and then find the equation that goes with it.